I'm going to be attempting to survive 100 days as an assassin. Sword 4000 hosted a 100 days event, and I marked myself as a master assassin. My only loyalty was to royalty and vengeance. I played my part and took down empire after empire, proving myself as a master of my craft. If you guys do enjoy this video, please be sure to smash that like button down below and subscribe to the channel. We just hit 15K and I cannot express my gratitude. Anyways, sit back, relax, and watch as I ruin lives as a master assassin. As soon as we were let out on day 1, I had very simple goals. Gear up as fast as possible. So what did I do? I punched a tree. My goals were extremely fast paced and I did not have near enough time. I grabbed all the essentials like pumpkin, sugarcane, and then started crafting my tools. Then I took to the valley and gathered as much wildlife as I could because I was going to need food for my adventure. I was planning on getting full diamond armor as fast as possible and I wanted to be the first with it. I can't very well be an assassin without the best armor on the server. After I had enough food for consumption, I took to the caves. First things first was iron armor and then on to diamond. As night dwelled upon the valley, I was safe in a cave, getting as much food as I could smelted so I could take off the next day and start my adventuring. Whoa, 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 whoa. Before we go any further, this video was made possible thanks to MX Rocks. This Minecraft server is brand new and puts an amazing twist on regular Minecraft. It has an amazing custom map that you can explore for miles and miles with all of your friends. As soon as I hopped onto the server and went into the open world map, I got into a huge fight with some zombies. These things are scattered all over the place and you're definitely gonna need some friends to beat these guys. And somehow I ended up in a gang war. Don't ask me how, but I'm pretty sure my side won. The server also offers custom vehicles, including 3 tiers of bikes, cars, sports cars, helicopters, and even planes. Heck, after flying around with some of the boys, I kinda airstriked them and I got a huge bounty placed on my head. I think I'm worth 17K at this point. With all that money, I can go check out /warp apartments and buy my own pad. I might have to save up a little bit more though. I don't think that'll be too hard, and if you want to collect my bounty, come play with me over at play.mxrocksgta.org. All links will be down below in the description, as well as in the pinned comment of this video, and their permanent server link will be forever in my Discord. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. Here's the video. Day 2, I discovered a broken portal, but it had already been looted. After that, I made my way into a clearing and gathered some leather from horses. Yeah, I'm sorry, not really. And then stumbled upon this really cool pumpkin valley. I went into one of my first caves, grabbed some coal, discovered a skeleton spawner, grabbed more iron, and then I was out of there. My goal was a swamp because I have a feeling I could find diamonds pretty easily there. On the way there, I ran into Sword on his alt account, and he disappeared. I have no idea where he went. I probably should have tracked him better, because maybe I could have killed him later. From there, I found a swamp, mined down, and didn't get lucky at all. But that started my caving journey. I spent a few days down below trying to gather as many resources as I could. I used every method I possibly knew of, including sea counter, to finally find my first cave. Thankfully, this cave led me to my first vein of diamonds, making me the second person on the server to have diamonds. Then I figured it would be worth my while to make 2 separate blast furnaces. After that, I smelted all my remaining iron and made some armor. Since the cave was so small, I decided to venture out a little bit more and ran into another vein of diamond. Unfortunately, it was only a 2 vein. It's probably been 2 days since I found my last diamond vein, so I decided to do the every 2 blocks you mine into the wall thing and found a 4 vein of diamonds. It's not too bad and it made me want to continue mining. I found another cave and stumbled into probably one of the most scariest situations of my life. I went up into the cave right into a creeper. Using F5 basically messed up my brain there and I got blown up. I survived at half a heart, but then started spamming blocks because a skeleton was shooting at me. After that, I sat in a wall until I was able to get to the vein of diamonds I saw originally. If I didn't survive right there, I would have been banned from the server. After a little bit more time of mining and this last vein of diamonds here, I was at around 30 diamonds. This could be one of my faster times for getting full diamond armor. But before I did that, I went into the nether. I only traversed the nether for about a day. I didn't want to spend all my time in here, and the only reason I was initially here was for levels. I did end up spawning the nether fortress when I was in here, so that's gonna come in handy later. As well as I was able to get myself to level 30 before I went out, just in case somehow I was able to make the bookshelves later. Right before I left though, I spotted a cobblestone tower that could lead to someone else's base. If I can get over there, that could be the first kill of the server. Once I returned to surface, I made myself full diamond armor. I had a lot of extra diamonds as well, so I was able to make an enchantment table and enchant everything. I know they were only starter enchantments, but trust me, it makes me look a lot more threatening on the server. Take it, we're on day 9, and I already have full diamond armor that's enchanted. People don't know what's on it, but still, that's pretty impressive. The rest of day 9 I spent heading back to my base. Now, you may be wondering, how do you have a base? You haven't established anything the entire time. Well, throughout this entire series, I was in a Discord call with a few random people. There were a lot of things happening behind the scenes that I kind of wanted to take part of, even though I was pretty far away. In particular, an election among a republic, aka the Butter Republic. Yes, I'm in said Butter Republic, and I know it's not that menacing, but look, I've got the full diamond armor, I'm fine. While journeying back, they held an election for who would be president of this republic, and it fell to Ryan. He promised that our republic would rule the server. So, of course, I wanted to get in on that action. By nightfall, I spotted the castle and was finally home to the Butter Republic. Upon my first entry, I saw Ryan literally naked. Our president was naked, so I gave him some iron and told him to make some armor. Of course, everybody in the castle was extremely afraid of me. However, I did not have my finger on any trigger right now. At this point, I was more of an ally, but I kinda grew into one of the elders. Day 10, I got to play firefighter because our base was lit on fire by one of our fellow members. He was trying to clear out some trees so we could see enemies upon approach, but fire spreads in this game, so our castle kind of went up in flames. Day 11 wasn't all too interesting, except for the fact that I established a temporary camp for myself because I wasn't sure if I could trust the Butter Republic yet. I basically started growing some crops, getting some animals, and having a ton of doggos. That was it. I don't think I actually ever came back here, so everything's probably still here, including the dogs. So my next plan to become one of the most overpowered players on the server was to go straight to the end. I made myself another portal and hopped back through so I could go and venture for the fortress. However, spawning right next to it made that kind of simple. My first goal was to climb this thing, find the blazes, and get as many blaze rods as I need for potions and the Eyes of Ender. I mean, can you imagine someone going to like the end on day 20? Yeah, it's no dream speedrun record, but me doing this on a server with a bunch of different people, interacting with them and still chilling with them in calls, it's a little rushed. Once I found the blaze spawner, I started farming these bad boys until I had all the rods I needed. I believe I ended up with like 9 to 12, I don't know the exact count. Once I established nether dominance against my cheese stick friends, I made my way to the warp forest. But of course, knowing myself, I made a pit stop for quartz. I think me getting these levels now is gonna help out a ton later, so I don't really mind the quick little pit stop. Time to take out the beady-eyed purple demons. I had some really good rates with these guys, but it still took a long time because the biome was super small and I had to run around a ton just to get them to spawn. However, after gathering about 10 ender pearls, I figured that was gonna be enough to get me to the portal. If I needed to, I could always come back and gather more later. I made it out of the nether and back to the surface so I could test out my first Eye of Ender. I threw my first Eye of Ender and started my journey off. To my surprise, I threw that same Eye of Ender a little bit later and was right on top of it. I mined down, and I mined down, and I mined down, and I mined down. Eventually, after a long wasted day later, I realized that there was no portal here. Wherever these eyes were taking me, it wasn't here. I did, however, get in contact with the admin of the server, and he realized that the eyes are throwing it to a different portal that isn't there. However, there is an actual portal in the server, so I was able to find that at a later date. Okay, so while I was doing that, my entire republic was moving bases. As we last left off there, I had to play firefighter and try and save our base, but apparently it really burnt down. Luckily, one of the members had already been basically at the world border making his own jungle base that he willingly let us all take over. And by take over, I mean we basically made it a mess, but this isn't about building. This is about killing, this is about hunting, and this is about exploring. Why did that just make me think of the Rocks rap? It's about drive, it's about power, we stay hungry, we devour. Oh boy. I arrived at the jungle base and it wasn't too bad. We had a couple docks, a lot of vegetation, and a house for us all to share. And by all, I mean like 7 people in one house. Once I got in the house, I immediately started working on potions. Strength and speed specifically, because those were going to be the 2 PvP potions that I needed. I'm serious about being the most overpowered on the server. Like, that is no joke. It's going to happen. And no one is going to stop me. Okay, so the lack of glowstone stopped me. I had to travel all the way back into Nether, find glowstone, and then come back just to make my potions tier 2. By then, I had already wasted another day on potions, and you shouldn't even take this long on potions, okay? But I'm an idiot, didn't grab glowstone, so that's on me. Thankfully, we now have strength 2 potions and speed 2 potions. I think I can kind of get out of any situation with these guys. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, that was I don't have an end crystal. Okay, so at this point in the video, I'm really close to a maxed out enchantment table. However, I'm not quite there yet. And since we spawned in a jungle, the lack of cows is becoming very relevant. So I basically went out for an entire day searching for a single cow. Or maybe not a single cow, maybe a couple cows. I figured I would nether travel all the way back to hopefully spawn, and then I remembered that there was this cobblestone tower here. Once I got to the top, I realized that someone had been using this place as a base. There were furnaces, crafting table, a chest, and a lot of potion brewing items. Doesn't look like they had what I had yet, but they were getting close. I decided to leave the stuff there until I got back because I didn't really want to carry even more things that I already had on me. Luckily, the portal brought me all the way back to our burnt down castle, so I was right next to spawn. The cow rate was going to be much higher here. Or the donkey rate, as it happens. Oh, there was another one? Oh, I kind of feel bad. After I had everything I needed, I returned back to the portal so I could get home. When I loaded through the portal, there was actually a guy there, and I 3-shot him. It was not even a challenge. This was the first kill of the server, and like I said, I'm pretty much an enemy against everyone who's not in my faction, so insta-kill is kinda on. After that, I looted his body and all of the goods that he'd gathered thus far, and made my way back to my Butter Republic. Yeah, this is why everyone is scared of me in this server. To this day, they can't say the name Welcoming without quaking in their boots. Once I got back, I enchanted my diamond pickaxe, and it only gave me efficiency 3. Not a very good start to the day. After that, I went out, made another diamond pickaxe in hopes that I would be able to get a better enchant, and it wasn't much better. I got unbreaking efficiency 3, which I guess once I combine these two, it's gonna be okay, but I don't have any special enchants on it. This is just gonna have to be my netherite mining pickaxe. So speaking of netherite mining, that's what I did for the next few days. This was probably one of the longer processes of the video, especially since I only got enough for armor itself. But since it was before day 25, which is 1/4 of the series, I think I scared a lot of people doing this. This achievement right here on day 1 the server was open was probably the best thing ever. I not only had full diamond enchanted first, but now I have full netherite enchanted first. Could you imagine playing on an anarchy server and some guys claimed himself as an assassin and within like 2 or 3 hours the server's been open, he's already in full netherite? I think I'd have a heart attack. I am not to be messed with. And now that I'm basically the most overpowered person on the server, I wanted to continue that. I headed back into the nether so I could get more levels so I could get my armor a lot better. Currently it's only protection 1 and I need this to be prop 4. I kept in mind that I wanted to attempt the stronghold again. I know that there is one in this world, it's just that the ender pearls aren't leading me correctly. So while I was in here mining quartz, I was also getting levels from endermen. I spent much time in here getting ore after ore after ore because I wanted to get higher than level 30. I have 4 armor pieces to enchant and my luck has not been good. So before I left the nether, I made sure I was over 30 so I could hopefully get a couple enchants. Maybe this time enchanting would be on my side, but I have a suspicion it wasn't. Once I got back to the enchantment table, I used an iron chestplate to determine what piece I wanted to enchant. I was given prot 3 as a prompt, hoping that maybe for netherite it would be prot 4, but I got unlucky. My netherite chestplate now has prot 3 thorns 1, which, as you guys know, breaks the chestplate so much faster. Which specifically sucks because we didn't go for villagers in these 100 days, or at least they didn't. I kind of did a little bit just for mending, but it was not my goal. After that, I grabbed a little bit from a furnace and got enough levels to enchant again, and I got a Fire Aspect 2 Smite 4 sword. Not gonna work well against players, but mobs don't stand a chance anymore. After that extremely disappointing enchant, I figured it was time to go for the stronghold. I did get a little distracted with quartz, you know, I need levels because of my armor, but I was able to get out of there eventually and continue my search for a stronghold. I used the eyes I had on me, not expecting to go to the end, but at least find the portal, and I got back to the exact same spot as before. At this point, I was getting pretty upset because there's literally no portal here. Like, you cannot find anything here. I have mined here for so long. There's nothing here, and the eyes are leading me here, so I'm getting a little upset, okay? I'm a little frustrated. I want to go to the end and kill a dragon. Apparently, at this time, Sword was able to find another fortress that was not where the eyes led me, so I had to get creative. If this stronghold was going to be anywhere, it was going to be somewhere farther from here. So I decided to traverse the 5K by 5K map until I found it. I spent a very, very long time running just to see if I could find anything at all in the ground, anywhere. A cave that would lead into it, maybe a base that's posted up next to it, anything at this point. With no luck at this point, I decided to turn home. Most of the Republic was on at this point, and we had some mining ventures going for diamonds, iron, netherite, that kind of stuff. I wanted to join in because, well, I'm kind of a netherite miner expert at this point, as I'm the only one on the server with it. Plus, I figure if I can get some more netherite, then I can upgrade all of my tools, and then I'll even look scarier. At this point, I see this as a win-win, so I spent my time mining. I got pretty lucky with the ancient debris mines, and I was also really down here for levels. Since there'd been a few people already down here, there was a lot of quartz almost everywhere for me. I spent a few days down here, and I really didn't like that trade-off. I realized the value of having the best armor in the game, but at the same time, knowing the landscape of the world is kind of important too. I was itching to find someone's base, find somebody, kill something, get anything at this point, other than just mining. By the time I was done and back to base, I was able to smelt up 17 ancient debris, which means I had picked up another 4 ingots and an extra ancient debris, or what is it, scrap for my team, for my, I'm gonna get this right eventually, I swear. I crafted up the 4 netherite ingots and stored away the other scrap, and it was time to make something epic. I made myself a netherite hoe. I was so confident in my skills that I was gonna make a netherite hoe and put sharpness on it, and then kill people with it. However, the Sharpness 3 book that we had did not work on the hoe. It was later used on an axe, so I mean, it was still put to good use, but at this point, I'm gonna have to beat down people with a hoe. I did enchant it though with Efficiency 3 Unbreaking 3, which at this point I feel like is my best luck. After that, I headed over to our dock and realized that we had captured a phantom in a boat. How this thing's not burning and how we kept it for so long is extreme, okay? I mean, we also had pandas, but a phantom? Really? Then I tried healing my pickaxe and I had no luck. It was gonna cost way too many levels and I don't think I healed it? I can't remember, we'll find out later. Then I went ahead and turned my sword into netherite just to make it a little bit better and healed up my netherite boots and my helmet. Yeah, I know that's kind of a waste of a netherite ingot, I get it, but at the same time, this armor needs to stay alive for the entire 100 days. And as I said before, I didn't go from ending for a very, very long time. I then returned to the nether so I could travel to one of my previously made portals and get back to a different spot in the overworld. I was not giving up the hunt for this stronghold, and I kinda just wanted to traverse the area and see if I could find a base. I made it to so many different biomes. I walked thousands of blocks. I mean, I probably walked the most this entire 100 days. I even ended up hitting a couple borders along the way. But I finally ran up on a patch of sugarcane that looked man-made. Once I got there, I mined in a few different walls and finally found the entrance to a base. They thought they could hide there, but come on, putting a giant strip of sugarcane outside your base is what every Minecrafter does. Hiding in the wall wasn't gonna help you. It literally didn't have anything inside of it anyway. I'm in full netherite. Like, what was it gonna do for me? I mean, cool, I found a base. It took me 3 days to get here and I got nothing out of it. That's awesome. After that extremely depressing trip and not finding anything I truly wanted, I returned home so I could go to the nether with some of the boys. Me, Ryan, and Survivor were gonna scout the nether for a kill. Apparently, LFC KFC was actually in the nether at the time and he was hunting them. These are details we found out later, but basically once I got home, we all met up in the nether. Apparently learning details about these 100 days later kinda helps, so here's what's happening. Currently, Ryan and Survivor were scouting the nether for LFC, and once I got to them, LFC actually saw me and left. He was gonna 2v1 them because, to be fair, he had end crystals and was a pretty smart PvPer for 1.16. But as soon as the full netherite kid got there, he ran away. However, we didn't know that at the time, so we continued scouting for him. We had a feeling he was in one of the nether fortresses because he had got the achievement for it. However, while we climbed up this little pillar system, Survivor and Ryan went next to each other. If you guys don't know, 1.18 or 16 or 17, whatever version of Minecraft you're in at this point has entity cramming, which means that Survivor's body pushed Ryan off into the lava below and he died. This was our president we're talking about. Our leader of our republic had just died. This was a huge moment, and this is very unfortunate for us. I went to go check the loot and see if anything survived, as he had some very, very good things on him for, well, our Republic. Unfortunately, the only thing that survived was basically a gold sword and some watermelons. Unfortunately, we don't have the luxury of mourning our captain, and we had to continue on. Survivor and I continued our search while Ryan was in spectator mode. However, I still at this time had the suspicion that LFC had already left. So what did we do? We hunted for a bastion because I wanted to explore this nether, see if we found any other portals, and we walked into a bastion basically. Now, you guys all know me, I am a very risky Minecraft player, and I don't care if I die. I genuinely have just this ego that I'm not gonna die in Minecraft, so I do the dumbest of things. I took on the bastion alone while Survivor sat outside, and I don't blame him, okay? There were some very, very bad moments in this. I made my way up to the top chest, and of course, all of the piglin brutes were waiting. I accidentally connected a few bridges to me and had to jump for my life. I got lagged back and still survived. Then I had to devise a plan that would get me to these chests without these guys killing me. Thankfully, I just stayed 2 blocks above them and it wasn't an issue at all. From there, I just built 2 blocks high to get from chest to chest. The biggest things I got from this was a couple netherite scraps and ancient debris. At one point, I messed up and a piglin brute hit me and I had to run to a safe pedestal. Sometimes I take things a little too far. After that, I ran in and I didn't die somehow. I did my 2 block thing to get to the other chest and everything seemed fine. And then I found it. Pigstep, the best music disc in all of Minecraft. This was truly what I was after. I mean, to be fair, Survivor wanted the actual netherite scraps and ancient debris, but I just wanted the Pigstep. From there, I dropped back down, took a lot of accidental fall damage, and then ran out of there. I did not want to get hit by a brute right now. It was not the right moment. Thankfully, I made it back to Survivor okay, and his heart is fine, by the way. What I mean by, he probably had a heart attack watching me. And as of right now, we're the only 2 people alive in our Republic. I know I haven't kept you guys up to date, but everybody else has died. Me and Survivor are the only ones left. Wait, correction, Rich is still alive, and we do a lot of adventuring later, so you'll see him there. Then we got out of the nether through one of the original portals that I made. The reason we did this is because we are now going for the dragon. Thanks to Sword 4000 actually telling us where this thing is, we can go to it now. The funniest part about it is, remember that little sugarcane strip that I said was basically useless and that small little base? Yeah, they were right on top of it, which that is nowhere near where the Eyes of Ender take you, but that doesn't matter because that's where we're headed now. Unfortunately, once we got to the portal, it had literally no eyes in it. So I used all the lava in there to make myself another portal, go into the nether, and collect as many eyes as I needed, aka 3. Once we had all of that, it was time for us to go defeat the dragon. Survivor and I were ready for the battle of a lifetime. We hopped in and realized that we made the goal to kill it with a hoe. Yeah, remember that netherite hoe I made a little while ago? That was gonna kill the dragon. We also walked in the portal without a bow. Okay, well, he had a bow, but he had like 3 arrows, so it wasn't very good. I ran around as fast as I possibly could and got all of the crystals. Okay, not all. Like I said, he had some arrows. But once that was done, it was just basically waiting for the dragon to perch and hitting it down so that we could eventually kill it with the hoe. On its first perch, I probably did 1/4 the damage just with my axe alone. I didn't have any sharpness on this thing, which was very unfortunate, but it still did really good damage. As soon as the dragon left, however, I got hit up very far into the sky and kind of block clutched extremely smooth. I won't lie, I was streaming this to Ryan and a few others, and they kind of commented on that one. Eventually, on its 3rd and final perch, I was able to use the netherite hoe and free the end. Not only wasn't I an assassin for these 100 days, but I just killed a dragon with a hoe. I think that's an achievement in and of its own. After that, we made our way to the end gateway and started our search for an elytra. The goal was at least 1, and hopefully one of us was going to get it soon. I did not want to spend 10 days in the end. I don't like it here, especially with only 26 cooked pork chops. After an extremely long time of building from area to area, killing enderman after enderman for pearls, I finally stumbled upon an end city. Thankfully, this one did have a ship attached, so I was going to be the first one with an elytra on the server. It seems fitting, as that's kind of my goal, is to be the most stacked on the server at once. The loot that we gathered from the end city was actually super nice, but I was only concerned about this elytra. I knew that getting this guy was the main priority because I'm going to be able to get in and out of fights super quickly. With a single flick of a wrist, I now have my elytra. Thankfully, I bought fireworks in the end, but I wasn't concerned about that right now. I grabbed the dragon head, switched on my elytra, flew down, grabbed it, and then I was onto an end gateway. It took a little while to find one. I don't know why they're not more common. But once I did, I was finally free of the end. Once I made the long journey home, I healed my elytra, and one of our recruits got on. I handed out some of the diamond armor that we had gotten from the end cities, and I think he liked it. To be fair, I did keep a set for myself because I have a feeling I was going to turn that into netherite. I got basically all full prop 4, unbreaking 3 mending gear in there, and I was not going to give that to anybody else. However, if I got more netherite later, I would definitely give away my current stuff because I am just not in love with this. I then went over to the enchantment table and started re-rolling some enchants, mainly my boots. I wanted to get something better, and I only got prot 3. I guess now I have some projectile protection and a lot of prot. The gear's not too bad, but it's also on the verge of breaking soon enough, so if I got into a fight, I have a bad feeling that would break. Man, mending and unbreaking come in clutch so much. After the gearing up session, Lacuna and I headed all the way back to spawn. We had some more recruits getting on, and we had to gear them up right away because there were still other people on the server and we didn't want them to die instantly. Then we got severe PTSD by looking at our burnt down castle. It's so sad how literally only the stone is left. All of the wood has been burned down. Right as the new recruits were getting on, we stumbled upon a base. There was another player online who was part of the Potato Empire. Apparently their base was extremely close to spawn and we never knew it. So in a little bit of a side venture, me and Lacuna went up there and killed a man. Or, well, I'll let it play out. Our plan was for Lacuna to hit it low because they had a gigantic waterfall leading all the way up to the top of their base. Me, I can fly, so I was going to be up there either way. Once Lacuna was close enough, I flew up there. Tried to be stealthy, but he was sitting directly in his mob farm. I think I messed this part up. However, intimidation factor won me over. I was able to stun lock this guy for a very long time while Lacuna was climbing up the side of the mountain. He then threw food at me, which it doesn't make sense. I think he's trying to do... Oh yeah, that's right, peace. Then we shook our heads a little bit, and Lacuna finally arrived. From there, we truly saw Lacuna's bloodlust, and he blew him up. Yeah, he blew the kid up. Yes, I did deal a couple hits, but Lacuna literally TNT'd him. After that, the base was ours to loot as the only current online member had just been killed there. Yes, this is an anarchy server, but there were rules against people looting bases with no one online. Thankfully, we just killed the online member, so all of this is ours. They had a mob farm with a ton of stuff in it, thanks for all the gunpowder. He did have full diamond armor, and we had extra recruits getting on, so we needed the spare funds. After that, we started checking out the base, and there was some subpar loot in here. However, we definitely took it all. So you remember how Ryan died, right? Well, his promises from being president never really got fulfilled, and most of our nation was starving. Thankfully, we're in the Potato Empire, and they have so much food. After we stole everything that we could possibly want, we blew it up. This is war, and if you didn't want to be a part of it, then you shouldn't have logged on, buds. I think it was actually extremely fun finding someone's base and then killing him in the dead of day. Now everyone knows not to mess with the Butter Republic. After that amazing adventure, I flew over to spawn to go check out our new recruits. One was already having trouble fighting off the massive mobs that were spawning at night, so I killed them for him. After that, we had just killed a guy, so I gave him all of the stuff from that guy. I mean, to be fair, he's joining our republic, so I mean, I'm gonna give him the best stuff that we've got. Then right after that, we got another new guy, so I let him borrow the Prop 4 mending set that I had gathered thus far, and we'll see how that goes. Then I gave him diamonds, wood, and food, and we were off back to our base. Of course, these guys do not know the way, so we had to show them the entire way back through the nether. Once we got home, they explored the base, and we started expanding a little bit. As a few people have died, and a few people have come and gone, and we've got a few new people, we're gonna need a lot more room. So for the next couple of days, we all started building our own stuff. I went ahead and made a path to a tree house that I barely ever used, but I wanted to have some sort of house when I was there. Plus, I've virtually done no building in these 100 days, so I figured I should try a little something. And to be fair, for a tree house that I put very minimal effort into, it's not bad. And plus, I'm using jungle stuff, which I don't particularly love, but I gotta work with what I got. I don't really know what to put up here. Maybe I'll add some chests, furnaces, crafting tables, my shulker box, a bed later, but for now, it is what it is. Just a couple platforms, staircase, and it's away from the creepers at least. Alright, so our next day gap is going to be massive because I went on a gigantic map exploring adventure with Rich. The goal was to search the map as far as we could to find as many bases as possible and hopefully find Sword 4000. Unfortunately, we didn't know at the time that he had already died in the series. Along the way, we found some really cool things, did some crazy things along the way, and all around just had a great time. I'm sure I'm cutting in things that we did throughout these like 20 days, but it was just so much jam-packed that I don't even know what I'm showing right now. I know that we did find a really interesting cobblestone tower base that we looted. I know that we found some villages. I know that we went outside the border at one point and just decided to travel it for fun. I don't know why, but we literally traveled from border to border outside of a border. And the worst part about it was that we couldn't leave like 4 blocks outside the border, otherwise we took damage. At one point, I tried to test and see if the border damage stopped at any point. Since I had an elytra, I could go pretty quick. Let's just say that was probably the scariest moment of these 100 days. I survived on half a heart after trying to fly outside the border. I don't know why I did this, but I've got some really big brain cells, you know? Just something stupid I like to do. I don't know. I don't know why I did it, but I did it and it was funny. However, after all of that exploration, all of that time outside the border, inside the border, we still didn't find any like really nice bases. To be honest, the best base that we found so far was the Potato Empire Kingdom, whatever they were calling themselves, and they fell within like 30 seconds of being online. After that, however, we decided to do our first raid. It was only Rich and I, so we didn't want to do anything too dangerous, so we just did a level 1 raid. Y'all already know how raids go, and it wasn't the most exciting thing ever, and we only got 1 singular totem out of an entire raid, which has never happened to me before. I always end my raids off, even the level 1s, with like 4 totems. I don't know why we only got 1, but I decided to give it to Rich because I have better armor and I'm awesome, so yeah. And after the raid, we got separated, which was not the best, and I eventually found a village. Once I was in this village, I quickly set up a reroll station so I could get mending. Now, we're 76 days into this video, and I still don't have mending on any of my gear that wasn't from the end city, and I have done 0 villager trades thus far, which means I'm gonna spend some time re-rolling this guy. Once I did, however, I got mending for 26 emeralds, and I went ahead and bought it. After I realized I did not have enough emeralds for more, I had to do some more stick trades. So I cut down some more trees, got some more sticks, and then traded for more emeralds, and then got the mending book, so on and so forth, until I had all the mending books that I needed for all my stuff. Now it's time for me to go back in the nether, into the mines, and find more ancient debris. As you guys may have noticed, throughout the time adventuring with Rich, I was wearing diamond armor, which was my end city gear. The reason I was wearing it is because that actually had the mending and prop 4 on it. I gave my original netherite to Operator Diamond, who was one of the new recruits. The reason for doing this was so that I could upgrade this diamond armor on my own, get mending for my other stuff, and hopefully eventually get mending for that stuff. It just really wasn't worth it in my eyes wearing a subpar set of netherite that was not really going to do anything for me, and if I got in a battle it was going to break, so I just opted out for the diamond and then started mining for more netherite. Once I had all the netherite, however, I turned all of this diamond into netherite, started enchanting, got the mending books on it, and now I basically have a full prop 4 set, which I'm extremely happy about because now I'm definitely the most overpowered person on the server. I still have potions and I still have end crystals, so I'm pretty good there. I also had another reason for gearing up currently. The second to last surviving member of the Potato Empire logged on. KFC or LFC KFC, he had a weird name. He wanted to set up a fight between Survivor, Operator Diamond, and himself, so he was to go into a 2v1 and kill them. I, however, had a different idea. I was going to take my elytra all the way to spawn, be there at a certain point, and then interrupt the fight and kill him. I'm easily thinking we're about to get a full diamond set out of this, and he doesn't even know he's walking into a 3v1, which is very unfortunate for him and very fortunate for us. Once I got to spawn, I kind of watched the guys just walk around until they finally saw him. He was apparently underground that whole time setting up an end crystal. However, we didn't know that at the time, and all 3 of us ran in. As soon as he saw 3 of us, he panic placed an end crystal and killed Operator Diamond in 1 shot. Now it was just a 2v1, which is what he originally wanted, so I mean, it's not that bad. From there, whatever armor he had literally would not allow him to die. We fought for a very long time, and we even had Operator Diamond as a spectator, and we lost him. Like, literally, we lost him. Like, I couldn't find him. The guy vanished into thin air. Obviously, he pearled, but I literally don't know where it was thrown to. And now we've just lost netherite armor and our new recruit. And then shortly after he escaped, he logged off, which is probably not combat logging because we couldn't find him, but we were hoping to get him back onto the server. Reason being is I have a new plan on how to kill this guy. This guy's taken out 2 of our teammates, Lacuna, who died while I was offline, and now Operator Diamond. this cannot stand any longer, and my brain was in overdrive thinking about how to kill this guy. Obviously, he wanted to set up a fight between one survivor, him, and Operator Diamond in the beginning, right? So I figured he'd want to do one against him and Survivor only, without me there. As I've said before, I am very intimidating, so yeah, I had to be offline for him to get back on. But if I was gonna do that, I was gonna do it right. So I thought up of an entire plan just to get this guy back onto the server and find out his location once we set up a fight with him. The plan was very simple. Survivor was gonna set up a 1v1, I was gonna log off, and Survivor was gonna kinda go to spawn, but only go to get his information, like the location of the guy. As soon as he saw the blocks that he was standing on, I was gonna log back on, which would make KFC log off because he's too scared of me. Once that plan actually worked and we had the exact blocks that KFC was standing on, I set up a trap. I mined all the way down to bedrock, set up a ton of different layers where there was going to be lava, where we're going to be able to hit him, all that kind of jazz, so that once he logged on, he was going to die. It's not even spawn trapping, because initially it was going to be a fight between him and someone else, and he also kind of has combat logged before, but you know, they just weren't fights that I was in. Which combat logging is against the rules, and that's actually probably one of the only rules in this Anarchy server. Plus, Anarchy, so whatever. After we had this trap set up, we had to convince him to log back on. Again, he's extremely scared of me and only wants to fight Survivor because that's the only person he could take on. So we sent him a fake screenshot of me being in the end so that he would log on. Once he logged on, he had literally no time to react. He fell all the way down and then we hit him a ton and he logged off yet again. From there, it's just simple combat logging and we know he's going to get banned from the server anyway, even if he doesn't come back online. Because breaking a rule is breaking a rule. But eventually we convinced him to get back on, accept his death, and take the honorable kill. From there, he really did try to escape. I mean, this was a battle and a half here. We had to mine blocks, we had to stop him from building up. I mean, the trap was not foolproof by any means, but it did work to keep him in. Eventually, I even mined in there so that I could go in and try and kill him myself. Once doing that though, all of his gear started breaking and we were finally able to kill him, which means that the Potato Empire has lost their greatest member. Finally, we can be rid of these guys forever, or like a few days, because there were still more that kept logging on and we had to keep killing them. Anyway, story for another day. Thankfully, once he did die, we got some pretty nice loot from him, including his pickaxes, his bow, and his sword. All of which was basically max enchanted. And we really did all of this for Lacuna as he was slayed by KFC. The next few days was truly just us messing around and having fun, as Survivor and I are basically the only two members still alive. We made an awesome altar to Ryan, our president who died, and you know, then I blew it up because TNT and redstone don't mix. We also lost a diamond block doing that, but hey, you know what? We're basically the undefeated champs of the server, so it doesn't really matter, eh? Alright, then I actually did fix the area. I know I didn't build this place, so we fixed it back up and built a fountain for Ryan. But now he has a really big gravesite underneath all this dirt that I put on only one layer, so if a creeper comes by, we could potentially fall into like 30 creepers or Ryan's dead corpse. But, I mean, that's what happens when there's like a gravesite. I'm explaining this too long, huh? Remember those pandas we had for a really long time? Well, as my ascension to king, I had to sacrifice them. I changed into my king's uniform, which has the crown, the leather pants, and of course, the crowned netherite scepter. After that, I put the panda in the middle, and it was time for my ascension to king. This panda was gonna die today, and I lit the fuse and ran back and took my position as the new king of the Butter Republic as I watched a panda die. Yeah, little harsh, but you know, anarchy, so whatever. Nearing the end of these 100 days, a man named Ricardo joined the server, and of course we had to work a little magic on him. Survivor and I offered him a position in the Butter Republic because, hey, you know what, we're feeling nice, we'll recruit some members. We asked him what group he was a part of, where he was, what kind of gear he had, if he was interested in becoming part of us, and he really was. So I told him to go to spawn, and I went into the nether alone with my elytra and tried to go to the spawn portal. Once I got there, there was a man. It was Ricardo. I waited for Survivor once I got there because we were going to knight him with the crowned scepter. However, remember how I just said this is anarchy? Yeah, as soon as Survivor got there, we told him that we would promise to treat him well, that he would become an officer of the law and be one with the Butter Republic. I knighted him with the hoe and we chopped him up. Anarchy, baby! I know this was a little rough, but to be fair, the server was closing pretty soon anyway, so it's not like he was going to do anything else. As soon as that guy left the server, another person joined on who did not know what we had just done. We literally did the exact same steps with this guy. We told him to come to spawn, he would join the Butter Republic, be an officer of the law, a doer of good. And as soon as I knighted our mans, we started to chop him up. Fortunately, while we were fighting him, he actually combat logged. A little bit smart on himself, except we've dealt with this thing before. Combat loggers get spawn trapped. So what did we do? We spent the next few days creating the exact same fall trap as before. However, this guy is not as skilled as KFC and has no clue what's going on. So I messaged him and told him to get on or accept the ban. Now, we thoroughly spent a long time waiting for this man to get on, okay? And it was getting down close to the wire. The deal was, if he gets on, he won't be specifically banned by Sword since he hasn't been on for a while. He can still spectate the world and still talk to his friends and be considered for further events. Eventually, he said that he and his friend would get on and they would die in peace as they were part of the Potato Empire. Although, that was an empty promise. Eventually, we did get him to log on, but we didn't make him fall down. We took him nicely to his empire, told him that he could lay peacefully at Potato Mountain. We took him up into a party room that Survivor made for some reason. Also, Rich is online now, by the way, so it was 3v1 anyway, so it was kind of screwed. But we did a little bit of partying with him. We did a little nonchalant, nonsense? There we go. And then we decided to seal his death with a fall. Not before, of course, Survivor fell off the tower and died, but I mean, he's been here for almost the 100 days, so his time ran out. Rich and I escorted him to the top and we told him to jump. It would be an honorable death for an honorable man, and it would be the end of these 100 days. As this man flew through the sky, Lagback decided to not let him jump and he died at the very top. Oh, it's funnier watching that every single time. Hey, you know what? Lagback truly does suck. However, Rich and I were the last two standing these 100 days, and we figured we may as well do it justice and survive a water bucket clutch. Whoever lives, lives. It was already the day of 100, so there was no going on after this point. Will we die or will we survive? We both jumped off. I chose a little bit of an easier area, and he still survived in a harder part, just like I did. We both survived these 100 days together and represented the Butter Republic with honor. Thank you to all of the Fallen who made this possible. Thank you to Sword 4000 for making this video possible, and I hope all of you guys did truly enjoy this video. If you guys wish to see more of this type of content, make sure to hit that like button down below and subscribe, and we'll see what we can do with my own Discord community later on. Heck, maybe we can do our own Anarchy 100 days again. Or I guess technically it'd be 200 days for yours truly. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of this new year, and with honor, I salute you on to your next YouTube video. Peace out.